back and forth, flying kind of low, and we can see the chemical trails from behind the plane. Aerial spraying is known to not be very effective in controlling the mosquito. But the problem is the ground spraying isn't as effective as officials had hoped either. So why do the aerial spraying? Because, as one mosquito expert said, why not try anything that we can?
Police in Phoenix have now linked a July shooting incident to the string of deadly attacks blamed on a possible serial killer. In 9 attacks, 7 people have died. This woman who lives in the neighborhood where most have occurred is living by some new rules.
Always look around you, see what's behind you, what's beside you.
Some pre-Olympic chaos in Rio. Protesters looking to disrupt the path of the Olympic torch mixed it up with police. The Dow is down 5 points. This is CBS News.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-457-1337. That's 1-800-457-1337. 1-800-457-1337. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
Earl is now a tropical storm as it careens across Central America. It hit Belize as a Category 1 hurricane. An Alabama judge faces a stretch of time off the bench in a case of sexually charged messages.
Tallapoosa County probate judge Leon Archer struck up a Facebook friendship with a woman who went to his office to marry another man 3 years ago. The marriage between the 34-year-old woman and the 68-year-old man was later annulled. The judge eventually started sending the woman sexually explicit messages and nude photos. His lawyer says the judge has admitted what he did and agreed to a 6-month unpaid suspension. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
A new poll by a genealogy website finds 2/3 of African Americans and 40% of Latinos have experienced violence or harassment at the hands of police or know someone who has. But most young people say they favor a police presence where they live. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
I'm Jamie. You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Heating up out there for the afternoon. Highs 90 to 93, but a few of these scattered showers and storms will move in and cool some of us off. Tonight, a lingering shower storm for a while, lows 70 to 73. For Friday and Saturday, a few isolated, mainly afternoon showers and storms, highs lower 90s. Check out JCPenney and get $10 off when you spend $25 or more with Coupon. It's a brand and a deal you won't find anywhere else. That's getting your pennies worth at JCPenney. And I'm 1412 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr. On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Hot News Talk 1240.
AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. With your chance to win $124 in cash and $124 in food every week with the Hot News Talk Radio 1, 2, 3 NASCAR contest.
Hot News Talk 1240.
All you have to do is guess who's going to be first, second, and third place in the upcoming NASCAR Sprint Cup race. If you guess it, you'll hear your name live Monday morning at 11:30. Then call AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio to win. Enter your guess right now at Rick Davis Golden Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. Wimpy's Restaurant in Soddy Daisy across from City Hall. Diesel Off-Road Technology Soddy Daisy. For your four-wheel drive and truck needs, stuff and upholstery with premium rubber foam. Cell Surgeon, the Broken Screen Doc. And Shooter's Supply, 4824 Hickson Pike in Hickson.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Enter your guesses now and listen to the race live to win $124 in cash and $124 in food from Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Hot News Talk 1240.
I love NASCAR.
Welcome to the Art Beat of Chattanooga, where we talk about all things art, where art lives. And today we have an awesome guest, a dear friend, and a man that I consider a master artist of our time, Morris Mitchell. So we're going to talk to him in a couple minutes. Really glad you joined us today. And as always, Nightfall is going on Friday night at 7 at Miller Plaza. Free music, lots of family fun. And also this week, I believe Saturday nights is River Nights Music is kicking off. And that is a wonderful event and venue where you're right on the river. You've got live music. You've got all those stairs going down, and it's a fantastic time. So you've got a lot of options. And also, it's First Friday. So the art galleries involved in the gallery hops and First Friday are open tonight to go and have cheese and crackers, wine, meet the artist, view the art, maybe buy something wonderful for your home. So there's a lot to do in Chattanooga, as always. And you know how much I love Chattanooga, so got to brag on it. So, well, Mo, and that's Morris Mitchell here, master artist, goes by Mo. And I'm really excited to have you. And can you just kind of introduce yourself and tell us how, who you are and what you do?
Well, as you said, my name, everybody calls me Mo. My real name is Morris. I taught at the Ringling College of Art and Design in Sarasota, Florida for 42 years. Was chairman 9 years. Got my master's degree at the University of Tulsa. And loved every minute of it. I have been along with teaching 42 years, I painted always at the same time that I was teaching. Loved my gig as when I was teaching. Loved my students, and of course, I love to paint. I mean, it is my life. And now, all I do is go to the gym, and then return to the studio and work on my own things. The nice thing about where I'm at now is I don't have to battle with teaching and the problems that go with teaching, because if you are a real good teacher or one who really a good communicator, is that you love your students and you give it everything you've got. Well, I do the same thing with my work, and so the work that I'm doing now it comes from many places, and I have time now where I didn't have as much time before to come from all of the different aspects, whether that be spiritual, intellectual, emotional, or cultural. And my work, most recent work, is a mixed media collage in many cases, or I also use prints or maybe some old prints that I rework. And then I build kind of a story, whether the things are rather abstract or representational. They generally always deal with something from our culture. I'm concerned about the future of the world, not just this country, which I am very worried about, but I'm concerned about the whole world and what we're trying to do with this world. And so a lot of my work is reflective of that, whether that is seen immediately or not, because so much of it is abstract. A lot of people look at it and they say, well, my 5-year-old child could do that. Well, no, your 5-year-old child could not do that. And I can argue that till the sun comes down or goes down. The work comes from my soul. It is hard fought in many cases. So many people think that art is easy and you just throw something on canvas or you make a drawing and that's an end in itself. Well, it's not. Most great art always comes from deep from within, whether it be a Rembrandt, Soutine, Vermeer, or any of the contemporary artists. Two of my contemporary the artists that I love and I feel are changing the face of contemporary art today, as about maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, are Frank Stella, Lee Montague, and Anselm Kiefer, who all their work is very different. they're somewhat ostracized by many artists because they are so obtuse, whatever you might want to call them. I think that they are innovators and see beyond many of the artists. There's so many artists out there that just repeat what they've been influenced by, de Kooning, or any of the New York school. What you see most today are watered down versions of students of students of students, instead of something that's really original that comes from within.
So for you, Mo, as an artist, you have the passion. It's your life. You've worked. You're now a senior citizen. If you're just listening and you're not watching on YouTube, Mo is wearing his cowboy hat because that's part of his thing that people know him for, and his purple suspenders with his black shirt. And Mo is just an active, wonderful man that spent his life getting to the point that he can now work in his studio as his main occupation. So it takes a lot, but I hear you just talking about the parts of society that art is addressing for you and some of these other artists, where it's not just throwing some paint on canvas. As artists, we're expressing our soul, our views, and our goals. And I heard you say, and I know with your current piece, your collage that you're working on, is very political for you, very much your statement about the world. And there's always that concern where we don't know if people get it when they see our work. And then there's the part, and I wonder if you've experienced this, where people view your work and relay something back to you that you never saw or understood that you even put in that work that they get. So do you have that happen to you?
Say that again.
Where people see your work and they see something that you've never seen in your own work, like something totally different than you intended.
Right.
But once they see it, you can understand it as well, that yes, I do see that.
Well, I think what you're saying is that whether it be shape, color, or the drama created by the atmosphere, and I consider black and white the pursuit of form, and color the pursuit of atmosphere. Taking those into consideration, I think I've become fascinated with shape and what shape speaks. I speak a lot in metaphor and symbols, or through symbols. In other words, when you talk about metaphor, in other words, I have a piece that is called March to Valhalla, which is where great Viking warriors went, sort of like a heaven for powerful Viking warriors. But it's really a metaphor for our boys that died in both Afghanistan and Iraq, and my feelings about that whole thing, very emotional, very spiritual. It's not a piece that's been very popular. In it are leaves, which I did in ink, and they're collaged into the piece. And the leaves are sort of falling in this particular piece, which represent falling men in battle. And there's a couple of that are in color. The rest are in black and white, which means also that I was suggested more than just one ethnicity, that all of us were fighting for something bigger and more beautiful. Unfortunately, it is also very, very painful and very, in some ways, dark. The dark side is not something that we want to happen to us. And much of my work gets involved with that fight, that argument of the spiritual and goodness in the world and evil in the world, and of course where they're in the throes internationally, not just here in this country, about trying to sift out the better part of the goodness, the light, so to speak. And so much of my work is trying to search my own soul but also Search the World and imagery and color or line that expresses or exudes that kind of pursuit to dig out answers.
So listening to that, Mo, I mean, as an artist myself, and I'm a local artist as well, and my work is completely different than Mo's, and I would never compare myself either. But I hear you talking about the motivation for your work and the difficulty that artists have emotionally handling what is coming out of us in this form, as far as like music. They're writing about their feelings. We're creating art about our feelings, about the world, about people. So it's sometimes a difficult journey. Like you said, it can be dark, it can be joyful. So, but Mo's work focuses a lot on, I can tell you, he has a great variety of work and styles. And if you can see back here, this is a self-portrait done in oils. And can you talk about that a little bit? Because to me, this painting is amazing. And I'm going to, while Mo talks about it, I'm actually going to get it so you can see it better. If you can't see it and you're just listening, it's a self-portrait of Mo, and it's very dark background with blues and blacks. And he's in a blue suit there, and he's just looking very kind of stately. And it's very true to life painting, in my opinion. The colors, the textures, very, very wonderful painting. So can you tell us about that, Mo?
Well, I think what as I do in everything, I tried to dig out in this piece the side of a personal, spiritual, psychological, philosophical side of me. In other words, I left all the scars that I have, and I have quite a few scars on my face. I left the scars there so that I didn't try to make myself look pretty. What I tried to do is dig into my soul, into but not only a likeness to get a likeness, but to get something more deeply involved. And so, for instance, somebody said, well, when I talked to them on the phone, well, the windows, the eyes are the windows to the soul. I said, well, there's no eyes in this. I said, I tried to do a painting without eyes and do the same thing. Yes, go into my soul, but do it and through paint, through the manipulation of the paint, the use of light. I'm enamored, and I have been. My favorite artist for all time would be Rembrandt, and so light was a very important thing. The color that I used also tried to not only bring atmosphere into it, but I think said something about something deeper about me. In the shirt, I kept the shirt reasonably simple and used the pattern as an interaction or a ploy against the head. I did not get detailed in it. I was more interested in the pattern of the shirt and how it played off of the head. Whereas detail, if you're doing the detail could take away what I'm trying to say inside of me. And I also happen to like pattern. I happen to like shapes because shapes speak, just like color, line, value, and so on. Shapes are very important, particularly if they're varied in their configuration. And those shapes in the shirt are what I tried to play off of the head, which is part of the contemporary side of me. The head is more classical or more traditional.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Mo. I've seen this painting before, and it is so detailed. You can touch the beard. It looks like actual hair. I mean, you can't get it on the feed, but it is an amazingly beautiful painting. And it's when I already suspected that you were a master, Mo, but when I saw that, I knew. I'm like, this is definitely a master. And I love the contemporary part of the plain clothing and the plain body against the very detailed head and the light that you have there. It's beautiful. Excuse me. Can you tell us about the other two? These are a little more contemporary.
Absolutely. The one in the middle is called Jada, and of course you know that from the song Jada Jada Jing Jing Jing, which is like the 20s and the Flappers and so on. And some of the images and the shapes in there harken back to a time gone by. Some of the older members of those listeners will probably get that. Your younger viewers may not remember or know about the flappers. But this is a kind of a depiction of a time, an era, probably a happier time than it is now. It wasn't as let's say, heavy because of the world situation, the economic situation. It was money was a little freer back then. I think big money. There were big homes, big cars, and big spenders back in those days. And I think this sort of embodies that whole sort of scene, goes back at that time. So I try to encapsulate that in the work.
So that's interesting because you're taking a period of time in history that at the time was probably considered contemporary. The flappers were probably at first very like, what's going on here, because of the outfits and the dancing, and but you've put it into a very contemporary, modern piece.
Yes.
As far as a piece of art, yeah,
absolutely.
But you do have the flappers in there. I see that you have collaged a silhouette of 3 flappers in there.
Right.
Yeah. So, we only have a few more minutes. So you do have a website, correct?
I do have a website.
Let's share that.
It's outdated. I'm not real proud of it. It has primarily, I think, drawings on it now. It probably exemplifies more of my older work, and then the new work that you see on the wall. And even the newest work is even gone beyond this. I'm always pushing myself. To me, a really creative artist is always pushing themselves further. That entails their imagery, their atmosphere, or the use of color or whatever. But they're always endeavoring to go beyond. Remember, they asked Picasso at one point what his greatest period was. And he said the next one.
That's great. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, and historically, a lot of artists have struggled emotionally and psychologically, and I wonder sometimes if that's from trying to sort out everything you're trying to share, the ideas you have about the world that are trying to come through you. So like any art form, it comes from the heart. If we want to communicate it, we want people to see our artwork. So what is your website, though? Can you say do you know the call letters to your website? Is it just morrismitchell.com?
It's morrismitchell.com.
So morrismitchell.com, and it at least gives you a little overview of the beautiful work that Mo does. Now, are you currently showing anywhere, Mo, that we can share?
I will be showing next spring down in Dalton at Michael's Fine Art. He is both a gallery and a frame maker. He's a buddy of mine. I also have a top gallery in Atlanta, Mason Gallery. It used to be Mason Muir, one of the better galleries in there. I am not having a show there at the present. He has some of my drawings. He's been putting some things together, and which I can't talk about now because he sort of warned me to secrecy. But I think it'll be exciting. I look forward to working with him. I've been with him now for a few years, probably about 5, 6, maybe 7, about 5 or 6 years, I think. And they're an outstanding gallery, and probably one of the leading galleries, if not the leading gallery in Atlanta.
So that's wonderful. So, here we've got a broad spectrum between Mo's work and mine. I mean, I'm pretty modern, I think, in my work, but still influenced by the masters, very much so. And I still hold that as the plumb line too, Mo, that, what happened in the 1600s, 1700s, the artwork from then is just, almost unprecedented. But I do believe that it's still happening today. We have masters right here, right now, that in the future, your work or someone else's work as well is going to be held up as the master's work of our time.
Well, thank you.
So that's pretty exciting. And I'm really glad you joined us today, Mo, and that you could come. And I really appreciate, your work. It's beautiful. So remember to go out to Nightfall, River Music Nights, and First Friday. And if you Google Chattanooga Fun, there's a ton of stuff going on this week. So really glad you joined us on the Art Beat of Chattanooga, where art lives. Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. You have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us.
We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Fox News Talk 1240.
Wow, we're not in Kansas anymore. Check out all these awesome guitars, amps, pedals, banjos, and so much more.
Suddenly, you're transported. You are on stage. Anticipation. Your fans are counting on you. You begin to play. Ecstasy, excitement, artistry and chaos, thundering applause, rock and roll.
Charvel, Gretsch, Supro, Jackson, EVH. Fulfill your dreams. Guitar, piano lessons, and more. Located at the corner of Boy Scout and Middle Valley Road in Soddy Daisy. Judah Guitar Music Store, where all your wildest dreams come true. Call 423-618-9911. Judah Guitar Music Store, where all your wildest dreams come true.
Hi, I'm Adam Disbro, the owner and the head surgeon of Cell Surgeon. Broken screen? You need it repaired now. We can do that. We'll have your phone repaired within the hour. No hassle, no mess, no stress. We love fixing cell phones. Your cell phone has become part of your daily activities. You've noticed your cell phone is not charging properly. It could be a charge port issue or your charger. Come in for free. We'll test your phone and your charger. You have an expensive phone. Don't feed it with a cheap charger. A cheap charger can actually damage your device. Our high-quality chargers are affordable. Cell Surgeon, 140 Northgate Mall Drive, right next to Old Chicago Pizza. 423-668-0100. www.thecellsurgeon.com. Please like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thecellsurgeon.
Get $10 off a screen repair. Mention Hot News Talk Radio. Broken screen, phone not charging, water damage, battery given out. Cell Surgeon in Northgate Mall next to Old Chicago Pizza. Check us out on Facebook. Open Sunday. Cell Surgeon. We bring your phone back to life.
Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet-friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com. That's crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas.
MLS 2239. Listen up, y'all. Ben Phillips Home Rate Mortgage, 805-9100. I'm in the business of saving people money. And if you want to save money, pick that cell phone up right now. 805-9100. I received a call that I won't forget. A family of 5. The husband's a TVA engineer. Financial stress was rising from medical bills and children in college. We lowered their rate, paid off their bills, and saved them $800 per month. Now they're living stress-free. And the best part is this. They're skipping 2 payments and paying off their home 7 years faster. It's easy, and you can do it too. It just takes 10 minutes, 1 phone call to 805-9100. There's no cost and no obligation. So why wouldn't you call 805-9100? Or if you're at your desk like me, get a quick quote at homeratemortgage.com. That's 805-9100 or homeratemortgage.com.
In the middle of our street. Hi, I'm Sabrina with Sabrina Realty Associates. Now is a great time to sell your home. In our area, inventory is at an all-time low, which translates into higher sales prices. Call us today at 423-499-7780 to set up a free consultation and discuss our unique and aggressive marketing programs. We will provide you with a free market analysis to determine the right value of your home. Call us today at 423-499-7780 or visit our website at SabrinaRealty.com.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. Hamilton County now has its first confirmed case of Zika virus. Apparently, a resident of Hamilton County traveled overseas to an infected area and then came back, bringing the Zika virus with him. There's currently no vaccine to prevent infection and no specific antiviral treatments for Zika virus. However, you can take protective steps to not get it in the first place, including using DEET and dumping out standing water in your yard. The suspect is being hunted down after the wrong way chase on I-75 has been added to the TBI's top 10 most wanted list. Anyone with any info about James Brian Miller's whereabouts is asked to call the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. There's a $1,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. And a Macaulay graduate's on the U.S. Olympic swim team. He's qualified for the men's 10K marathon, a grueling 2-hour swim in the ocean. Macaulay grad Sean Ryan on the U.S. Olympic swim team will be cheering him on. If it's going on in Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Heating up out there for the afternoon. Highs 90 to 93, but a few of these scattered showers and storms will move in and cool some of us off. Tonight, a lingering shower storm for a while, lows 70 to 73. For Friday and Saturday, a few isolated, mainly afternoon showers and storms, highs lower 90s. Check out JCPenney and get $10 off when you spend $25 or more with Coupon. It's a brand and a deal you won't find anywhere else. That's getting your penny's worth at JCPenney. And I'm 1412 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
On AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
Welcome back to the Art Beat of Chattanooga, where art lives. We're going to talk about all things art. It can be theater, the visual arts, music, everything. So if you are a local artist and you'd like to come on the show, get a hold of us because I'd love to talk with you. So we are here today with Nicole Griffin, and she, I guess, is definitely an artist, but I guess is, what do you call it, repurposed art, where we'll get into that in a minute. So welcome, Hot News Talk Radio. As you all know, you can tune in on YouTube, tune in radio. You can call 423-800-8949. If you have questions or anything like that, or want to just say, hey, we'd love that. So we're just excited. I met Nicole down on the North Shore where her shop is. And I actually have work hanging a few doors down at another shop. And I went in to see her things and really was just different, the things I saw in there. And very, very pretty shop. And Nicole was also busily working there in her studio. So, Nicole, go ahead and just, reintroduce yourself. Tell everybody what it is you do there.
Well, first of all, thank you for making me feel awesome.
All right.
My name is Nicole Griffin, and I do all the artwork with my aunt, and her name is Aunt Deb Prater. We started Tangerinas is our business, and we do all things out of recycled materials, cabinet doors and windows and handles and hinges and really anything we can find. And when we started, it was pretty much out of necessity, building furniture for my first apartment when I moved to Chattanooga.
That's cool. Innovation was the base then of your business.
Definitely. And money, lack of money.
Yeah, there you go. So did you start out how did the concept, so that was how you got the concept? Like, okay, I need some furniture and this is cheap, so I'm going to put this together.
And as Aunt Deb can tell you stories, even when I was younger, I would always do art with her and we'd always be coming up with something. She has pine cones with glitter on them and all kinds of different Christmas ornaments and silly things that we made together. So when I first moved here, we went to a salvage yard and found cabinet doors and we're like, what can we do with these? And the first table we built, we actually called it a falable. goofy concept. But anyway, it was two cabinet doors together and you open it up and inside was a photo album. photo album table squished together is falafel.
Okay. Wow.
So a lot of our art is very whimsical and just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's very unique, and there's a wide variety of what you do. And so you probably do a lot of thrifting.
We do a lot of it. Not so much thrift stores. We go to salvage yards where we can get unique pieces, or antique shops. Salvage yards a lot will go because you can find different automotive parts and architectural pieces, and so we do things like that, and then take it apart, or use the pieces and parts.
That's very interesting. So you must have a large storage area somewhere.
God, yes, we do. We have a couple different places where we hide our treasures.
There's got to be a lot, to the whole aspect of your business, along with the art and the business aspects of having a shop downtown, managing your stock, So because like my art is different, it's mostly canvases, and it still takes a lot of room and work to organize it. But for you, you've got probably to have to sort things so you can find what you're looking for when you're feeling creative. And so there's a lot to it.
Right. So we'll work Aunt Deb and I will work a lot of late nights. And what we'll do is I feel like we bring everything out. And so we have a visual of different things that we can play with, or, kind of put together, and just see where inspiration takes us.
I get excited just talking about it. I'm like, that sounds so fun. And I'm cracking up because Nicole has blue paint on her hand, and like everywhere I go, I have paint on me. It's just part of it.
A little custom this morning.
Yeah, a little part of being an artist. You just hit little paint here and there, no biggie. So that's pretty
make
funny.
It to my nails.
Yeah. So I know you can have it's bad. So we girls, we're going to talk about nails and paint now. No, so how about do you do this like full time? You said you mostly do in the evening with your aunt, but you've been at the shop pretty much every time I've been there.
Right. I do this full time. I've been doing this full time for 8 years now. And Aunt Deb has another full-time job. She owns a hardwood flooring company, Prater's Hardwood Flooring. And so when we can actually get together and work on projects, it's at night or on the weekends. And we travel and do art shows. And Aunt Deb will always go on the weekends with me to art shows.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So you travel like beyond Chattanooga, you're like all over.
We do. I think our max is about 9 hours so far. But this coming winter, we have a couple shows that we're going in Florida and a little bit farther.
So you're not just going to attend them, you're taking your wares.
Yes, that's what we started with. We started at the Chattanooga market 10 years ago. And then from there, we've just kind of slowly added on art shows. And now there's one stretch in the fall where we're going for 6 weeks in a row, or 6 weekends in a row. And then I'll come back on either Sunday night or Monday morning, go back to the shop, back to work.
Right. So that's a busy lifestyle for you.
It is.
Yeah. Keeps you hopping. So is there anything, as far as really hurdles that you found in getting to this point, that maybe an artist that's going into business, any wisdom you've gained over the way,
Be patient, grow small, for sure. Because we did start small in Aunt Deb's basement and just doing the Chattanooga market. So small like that. And then we added on a few art shows, started traveling a little bit farther. And then when we outgrew Aunt Deb's basement, we didn't have anywhere to keep all of our stuff for art shows. That's when we opened up this shop. And the shop is actually half gallery and half workshop. So that's where I work now and create all the art during the day.
And the shop is just adorable. I mean, you walk up there, and I think, isn't that where the dog always lays outside? There's a dog laying there. It's like 95 degrees, and this dog is sprawled out in the sun like it's enjoying it.
He loves it.
Dog, what are you doing here? And every time the dog is there. So you'll know you're to Tangerinas when you see the dog laying in the sunshine outside the shop. It's down on River Street, right across from Coolidge Park, in the really eclectic, cool part of Chattanooga. And you can also try to stop in and see my artwork a few doors down at Vanguard Artistry Gallery at K-Val Massage. So there's so many galleries in that stretch.
There really is.
Do you feel, now you kind of have a niche from what I've seen in this, nobody else has like what you have in that area.
What we have, and then I feel like another thing that makes us special is it is a destination because you can actually, it's not just going to a gallery and seeing art. You actually can talk to me or talk to us and watch us make it, see our workshop. And so even if you're not buying something today, it's still a destination place to come see where art is created.
Yeah, it's definitely enjoyable to just go through Tangerinas and walk around you get to touch things, like with paintings and that, not so much touching. I've pretty much sure I've handled everything I've looked at in your store. So very unique things. Can you tell us, like, what are some of the things you make? You mentioned a couple things, but like, what's your, what's your favorite thing to make, or is there one?
Oh, that's so hard. It really depends on what pieces. Some of my favorite things are the large items, and I just finished this sunflower piece, and it has so many different elements in it. It has a 100-year-old door from my neighborhood. It has ceiling tin from the old Yesterday's restaurant here in Chattanooga. They just closed that. And sheet music. There was a music place on Tremont, and we got some of their old choir books. And so you could see where actually there's writing from the teacher. Go slow, great improvement. And so just little things like that. I love to be able to put it all together and let it speak on its own.
That's really exciting. You've got history that you're putting together from Chattanooga. And again, it keeps coming back with every artist I talk to. There's that goal, that social goal, along with our emotional goal to get out, to make people feel good or get out our thoughts. Like your social goal here, you can tell you're very fond of Chattanooga. You're putting together things that you love from Chattanooga. And there's a 100-year-old antique door. I mean, that's really neat, and kind of probably valuable too.
Mm-hmm. And I love to see, I live in Highland Park, and just to see all of the renovations and the changes, even in my neighborhood, it's so neat to see that. And I love to see different people coming to Chattanooga and falling in love with it like I do.
Yeah. And are you from Chattanooga originally?
No, not originally. I was born in Michigan and then raised in Ohio.
I was born in Michigan too. Where were you born?
Adrian.
Grand Rapids.
Okay.
Wow. Cool.
Small world.
Yep.
And my aunt, who I do that artwork with, she married a man from Chattanooga, and I would always come down and visit her. And so when I was done with school, I called Aunt Deb and I said, I'm going to move to Chattanooga. And so she found an apartment for me 1 mile from my house. I moved in blind. I didn't even know what it looked like at all. She picked it out. And so 1 mile from her house, I should say. And I moved down with the stuff in my car. And that's what we did. We would make art at night, made all the furniture for my first apartment. And I don't know, it's just kind of funny. There's one point where Uncle Mike was like, oh, go find some friends.
You're like, these are my friends. What are you talking about?
Aunt Deb is my friend.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a wonderful relationship and working relationship with your Aunt Deb. I'm already like falling in love with her and I haven't met her. So that's totally awesome that you have like a partner in your business to create with.
Oh, definitely.
Don't you think that like energy begets energy when you get together?
For sure, 100%.
Yeah.
And we have our different ways to tell each other, it doesn't look awesome. We just have a face and we turn our head. We don't actually tell each other that or to change it. We just have a face and we look away.
Is there ever a time when one of you won't like something and the other insists, no, I really want the piece this way?
Sometimes. It really doesn't happen often because it is we see things together. And as weird as that sounds, if I'm stuck on a piece, I'll hold it and wait for Aunt Deb for her whatever magic she wants to put on it. And the same thing, she'll bring things. She still has her workshop in the basement. And so she'll have things that are half finished or she gets stuck on. She'll bring them to the Coolidge Park shop and I'll finish them up. So it is a lot of things are both of us together the whole way through.
That's cool because there's not a feeling of pride there of like, this is mine and that's yours. We're working together to create a beautiful thing that is usable. That's the thing I love about your work is the majority of things are actually usable. Mm-hmm. Hooks and coat racks and tables and all kinds of things. I mean, so what am I missing there that you make to use? I know you have those beautiful like hooks of every kind.
We refinish a lot of furniture too. Mm-hmm. So there's also chairs and dressers and things like that. I
think for me, when I've been in there, I probably am looking around at all the stuff and haven't really looked at the bigger items as for sale, as more of a display maybe, but they're actually for sale too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I hope you can visit because really the North Shore, it's growing, it's exploding. The South Shore too, also wonderful, but the North Shore has a different feeling than the South Shore. It's a little more eclectic. It's a little smaller. And there's right along where the shop is, there's multiple shops right there. You can spend an afternoon just in Coolidge Park and visiting these shops. It's such a great place, So
I love to be there. We've been there for 7 years now. And so I really do feel like it's our home where we're supposed to be. And
You have
It's
a great
wonderful.
location there. You know,
Mhm.
it's a great location. So right there next to the the walking bridge.
Mhm.
You know, basically it's like an energy vortex center of Chattanooga, right? I mean, you're right there at the river at Coolidge Park. It just feels really good to be on the North Shore. I'm sure it's a great spot.
It does.
Yeah, that's great. So your aunt your uncle is encouraging you to get friends. Does this take most? Have you managed to do that, Nicole?
Yes, I have managed to make friends.
Okay, so
I've been here for 10 years, so
All right.
hopefully I've made a friend or two.
so
now.
social life does happen.
Yes,
Okay,
it does.
good,
It
'cause-
does. Well, conveniently, my sister moved down into my living room of my 1-bedroom apartment 3 months after I moved down. So there was an instant friend right there.
That's awesome. So your family's coming to Chattanooga slowly here.
Yes, my sister and then my mom and stepdad moved to Huntsville, Alabama. So they're not far.
That's great. So, if you get any shows, that Huntsville is how far?
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
We actually have one coming up in Huntsville. It's called Montesano, and that's September 17th and 18th.
Now, do you have a website where people can see what you have in your shop?
We do. It's Tangerinas Chattanooga or tangerinasonline.com.
Tangerinasonline.com.
Yes.
And you can see the things that we're talking about. And I'm going to grab a couple pieces and we're going to have Nicole tell us about them. Let's see. Let's start with your taller one here with the curly hair. And can you tell the listener about that? I'll grab it.
Her name is Flo. And she's made out of different clock parts. And I really love the accent piece in her hand. It was part of an old chandelier. And she's just kind of saying, "Will you hold my flower?" And crazy curly hair. And I love this piece. And it's out of an old cabinet door and bright colors. And she's just a happy one.
Yeah, so everything's from clocks, you said, in this?
Her face, and actually it was a couple different layers, and inside there was all these different gears, and so I took the two parts apart and and I kept all the other pieces too. I want to make jewelry or something out of it. And
nothing goes to waste,
no,
right?
not a thing.
That's awesome. So I see here this Chattanooga sign behind me. So you've used different things to spell Chattanooga. What have you got going in there that's creating that word?
There's there's a couple different hinges, and then there's some plumbing parts, and there's tools and kitchen utensils also. It's just really an eclectic mix of different items.
Yeah, everything's got it. You're talking about it like it's hardware, but it's totally art, and it's very pretty and pleasant to look at. Everything just kind of comes together really nicely. So these are definitely unique pieces that I really enjoy. So, it's just a great thing. So you're going to tour. When are you leaving? I forgot when you said you're heading out to some shows.
Mm-hmm. Well, the next one we actually have is in Nashville. That is August 17th, and that's for August 13th. That's for the Tomato Festival. And that one's one of my favorite shows. We make some different tomato pieces and little tomato people for that one. It's just so quirky. I love that one. It's in East Nashville.
I'm trying to imagine what you use to make tomato people.
All kinds of things. I have some old vents that I'll use for the faces, and we make them where they can hold hands or not hold hands.
Oh, that's cute.
Very whimsical and happy art.
Yeah, it is a happy art feeling there. And so, the things that you make, is there a specialty thing that, a creature or something? I've noticed you use a lot of mermaid hooks and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have a favorite type of thing, of your personal one that I would like to make more of this?
I would say the flowers. Those are still my favorite. And I have one in my house that's made out of an old tennis racket. And I just love the components that go into it. There's so many unique things because it doesn't have to say something, or it doesn't have to be anything. It could just be as whimsical as you want.
Right. So a tennis racket, and then did you bring things through the mesh to create the flower?
Mm-hmm. There's different pieces of ceiling tin on that one, and then there's a couple other pieces from a chandelier that are actually the curly parts that go off the edges for the leaves. And
that's a creative starting point, a tennis racket, because you've got all the weaving set for you, and you can just work your stuff in throughout there.
Mm-hmm.
That's really a good idea. So I'm sure you painted it and everything too. And yeah, that's really neat. So you've been in Chattanooga. how long? 10 years or
For
long?
10 years.
10 years. Yep.
Mhm.
So have you seen the changes in Chattanooga then? When you got here, you mentioned, how pleased you are about how things are in Chattanooga and the progression. When you got here, you saw a little bit something different, right? 10 years ago.
Right. Oh, exactly. I mean, a perfect example is the Chattanooga market. That's where we started. And when we started, maybe there were 50 vendors, if that. And now it's just exploded. I think we set up last Sunday, and I think there were 120 vendors now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing how supportive Chattanooga is to handmade art. People appreciate it. Customers appreciate it. And they love to hear the stories where things come from. They love to come in the shop and pet Orange. That's the dog. And just
Orange,
talk to
okay.
me. And I think you really have a relationship with customers here in Chattanooga more than different cities that we travel to.
So-
That's one thing I've noticed.
Well, that's a wonderful statement about Chattanooga. And I find Chattanooga to be very friendly compared to the north as well. I found the same thing, friendly artists, friendly people. And the Chattanooga market, they have local musicians, local artists, local people who produce food sources, guacamole, bread, everything. So Chattanooga really, I do feel, supports local business more than a lot of cities I've encountered.
It's so true.
Yeah. And so I think that's a wonderful thing. And again, there's a lot of volunteer things going on in Chattanooga. Are you involved with the Southern Bend Yoga Festival coming up?
We're doing actually a couple pieces of art for them.
Okay.
Little yoga pieces. And
Okay, good. I'm going to be in that festival as a vendor. So with my hand-painted yoga mats, original yoga mats. So yeah, that's coming up. So lots of things coming up tonight or this weekend. Nightfall, River Nights Music kicks off, and that is a great venue. They're on alternate nights. You can go to both. Friday nights, Nightfall. Saturday nights, River Nights Music. And Friday night is also First Friday. So you can also go to all the galleries that are involved in that. Just Google it and visit them. Meet the artists, because that's what Nicole was saying. People like to meet the artists and talk to them about their work. It's so interesting to find how many venues and thought processes there are as artists. There's just no end. There's no stereotype. When I first came on board with these guys here, they kind of thought maybe artists were all hippies or something. And it's just, there's no rhyme or reason to who is an artist. It can be anyone. You never know who you meet that maybe has this amazing house full of gorgeous art. And you're just like, you're kidding me, right? So that's really exciting. And I think it's wonderful how you and your aunt have this together. That's something unique, I think, that a lot of artists don't have, that really compatible partner, family member to move forward with. That's awesome.
It's true. And supportive of each other, too. There's some pieces that we each have our specialties that we do. But when, she does something that's just amazing, I won't touch it.
There you go. Well, thanks for joining us, Nicole. I really appreciate it. Tangerina's on the North Shore. Just want to mention Judah Guitar Music Store. Thank you for sponsoring the Art Beat of Chattanooga. You can visit them in Saudi Daisy at the corner of Boy Scout and I'm forgetting the name of the road, Middle Valley Road. And that's where all your dreams come true. So visit Judah Guitar. And thank you for joining us on the Art Beat of Chattanooga.
Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's got third. He's going for second. Earnhardt going for the lead.